Welcome back to JohoTests, the podcast, and I'm your host, Balisa Mshungu, and it's a new month, of course. We're probably in the middle of the month or just the beginning of the month, and I have an exceptional guest again for you. And today's guest is a passionate gentleman who's going to teach us a lot about Rust systems. I've heard him speak at events and advocating for Rust and teaching a lot of us, especially in the tech field and the software space, about what Rust is and how Rust would benefit us. And I am super pleased to welcome Thembaletu Mbangcolo. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Palisa. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
How are you doing?
Not too bad. I feel good.
That's good. That's good. I don't know if you do know this, but on JohoTests we have a ritual where we ask all our esteemed guests to give us an understanding or a review of what the word quality means to them.
Quality, especially in software, I suppose. Quality basically, for me, would mean that the code that your systems, your databases, your servers, your everything, your data that you contain in your system is without bugs, free of bugs, free of vulnerabilities.
Yes.
So data quality is important because obviously in the internet economy, data is key.
Yes.
So quality actually to me then means that in that context.
We're talking clean data here. JohoTests is a platform where we've invited people that either have worked in the quality assurance space or are currently working in the quality assurance space. And our conversation today has taken a bit of a different turn, which I'm going to open the platform for you to teach us, right? What is Rust systems?
Okay. So Rust is a programming language.
Yes.
And it's roughly 10 years old. It was 10 years old last year. So it's fairly young. It's probably doing grade 4 or 5.
Those are good grades. Yeah. It's past foundation. So we're good places.
Yeah. So it started off as a systems programming language. Yeah. But Rust as a programming language is growing immensely, especially globally, like in Europe, in America, and obviously just globally everywhere else in the world. Just to say, I think the biggest milestone for me, which is important, I'm sure for all other guys and girls who do Rust, Rust has just been accepted in the Linux kernel. For the last 30 or 40 odd years, C was only the programming language there. So Rust now, as of November, December last year, was officially accepted. Why? Because it solves the problem of memory bugs. Exactly what this podcast probably is interested, like especially that question you asked earlier about quality.
Yes. Because
you don't want anything that's coming out of the Linux kernel having bugs. Because all servers are run by Linux, and all, like Google, for example, all their Android ecosystem is now on the Linux kernel. Obviously, it's going to benefit getting Rust. Rust is now officially in the Linux kernel. So that simply means all drivers or devices, basically every manufacturer, like for instance, think about your USB port is run from the Linux kernel system, for example. All drivers, the tech that we use. So Rust is important in that sense because you want your USB to work.
Yes.
You want your charger on your phone to work.
Yeah.
You want your whatever you connect into your PC or your smart TV to work.
Yeah.
So Rust, because now it's in the Linux kernel, it becomes important, critical.
Okay, cool. How did you get into it then? I mean, you just explained that it's fairly new.
Yeah.
Were you exposed to other programming languages prior to this?
Yes. I started programming actually very late when we were locked up in COVID.
Everybody transformed during COVID.
Yes. So I'm one of those. So I was quite in an unrelated field before that.
What were you doing?
Research, marketing, property.
Really?
So I used to work in an agency, advertising agency, consulting.
Cool.
Yes. So, big banks or a number of them actually were my clients. So,
but had you studied programming or any software languages?
I just did, what is it, this thing? Econometrics at VETS. That was in 2005 because I was bored. So I wanted something that challenges me.
Yeah.
And I studied that, and I also wanted to talk to the banking industry guys. Like
Yes.
if someone says I'm a portfolio manager,
Yes.
I thought, I need to figure out what the hell they're talking about. So I need to know. So because I was working for Financial Mail and Business Day at that time.
Sure.
And then Rust, and then we got locked up. I thought, okay, we're bored, we don't know what to do. Let me just try Python and teach myself Python. So that's how it started. And I went to C++ just to understand how it is, not to program in those languages, but just to understand how a programmer thinks, like, the neural networks.
Yes.
And then Rust was this thing that was bubbling. I didn't even know what it was myself when I started. So I thought, let me give it a go. I did. But what I noticed, Palisa, is when I picked up Rust, I was teaching myself, it changed the way I thought about. I think that's what it does. If you learn it, it changes the way you think as a programmer.
Yes.
It gives you a level deeper. Because like Python, all the other languages, except C, C++, they kind of like, they hide the complication or the complexity to you.
Okay.
So they kind of like do things for you. So
Yes.
you just have to program, and that's fine. But then I thought, okay, let me go a level deeper. I want to understand systems and things that are working at a lower level. So that's how I started.
That's a cool story. I mean, from a non-technical world all the way to learning a whole programming language that's also not quite popular, right?
I don't.
And now you are putting it out there, which is lovely.
Yeah. Because also, so since when I started with Python, my idea was to understand how to secure systems. So I got through it via the ethical hacking route. So ethical hacking gives you the ability to know why bad guys breaks into system. How do they? So it's like saying, I want to catch a criminal.
Yes.
But I want to know how they think.
Yes.
So I think like
that's
them.
the best way to catch them.
Yes. So when I think like them, and then I can catch them, or I know what they do. Then I can help my clients to say, hey, be aware of this, that, and the other, because this is what the guys who mean harm
would probably do. Yeah,
to break into your systems.
100%.
So that's the route. And then when I discovered Rust and the fact that it's also about security, especially securing those bugs that are hard to solve.
Yeah.
So Rust was perfect for me. So I know it's not big in South Africa at the moment, but I think I'm betting for the future. I'm playing a long game to get into it now and build myself, kind of like build my own nest. But I also know it's big globally. So whenever lights hit in South Africa,
we'll catch up.
I'll be there already. Yes.
I mean, it's really lovely. I think your processing and your thought leadership is actually great. I mean, even for me, I learned a whole new thing at the last week engagement that you had. And I want us to bring it back now. Yes. I mean, if you are programming, you probably have an idea of the software development lifecycle. Yes. Where would we then find the Rust system at best play? I'm guessing in the development phase, right?
Yes. Okay, yes. So like company X would probably, just like they hire C, C++, or Java or other programming language, they will do the same thing with Rust.
Yeah.
Maybe the business case for them would be similar to the business case Android had, because Android, the reason why they converted their C++ programmers into Rust was they would launch products but spend an enormous time, like 80% of their time and energy and resources debugging.
Jeez.
Things that break. So they thought, you know what, this is not, it's not on, we'd rather change into a programming. So that actually when you write it, because Rust, when it compiles, you're 100% sure that it works.
Yeah.
You can't say that about C++.
Most of the languages you can't say that. Yeah.
So if it runs in Rust, it's okay. 100%. So I think that's a big sell. And also Microsoft, the Azure division, their cloud, they did the same thing. They converted. In fact, they are Mark Rasunovich. I'm sure he's like, if you're in cloud, you'd know who he is because he heads the Azure division in Microsoft. He just tweeted, I think a couple of years ago, he just tweeted, we need to stop using these other languages. We need to adopt Rust. And his CEO saw it. He said, brah, are you serious? Because it was just a tweet. And he said, yes, I'm serious. And then the rest is history because they've adopted Rust.
Yeah.
So many other companies
are getting into
they're getting into Rust as well. So yeah.
So how would this then, the implementation of Rust systems in these in this life cycle, how would that affect quality assurance? Yeah,
look, like I said, like it did for Android and all the guys who've done it, you're not going to have your developers trying to figure, or even quality assurance guys trying to figure out bugs. They don't know how they actually, where did they come from? Now, like for instance, like I said, I think my last talk was how do APIs that previously worked suddenly break? Yeah. That's exactly the point. Because like it worked yesterday, or maybe it worked for the last 2 years, but now when you add new functionality into your API, because maybe your products or there's new needs in the market, you need to add another something into it. All of a sudden it breaks. Why does it break? Because Rust, its nature, before Rust, like C++, there's something we call dangling pointers. Okay. So when you create a variable, for example, you're a developer, you create a variable, you said x equals 5, and then you want that 5, you're going to do something with that 5. Maybe it's like an employee income, we're going to add commission. Now you're changing what 5 is. The value of 5 is going to be something else. So it's going to mutate into something new. So 5 plus 1 is going to be 6. It's no longer what it was before. You have added new functionality now.
100%.
Yes. But now, these are the programming languages that are not memory safe. Because when you allocate a variable, you're saying to the memory of the computer, here's a variable, please give me memory to do something. I want to do some work with it.
Okay.
Now, whenever you allocate a variable, that's what you do. But in C++, a programmer has to remember when that variable is done, that functionality, you have to clean up the memory. You have to remove it yourself. And it so happens that obviously people are people, they forget. And then if you do forget, in this particular vulnerability, is called a dangling pointer, because that memory is sitting there. Now you're no longer using it. Maybe your very own program will go right to that memory because that memory exists.
Yes.
It writes something, and then that's how your program behaves in ways you don't understand.
And then you don't understand.
You don't remember what happened. Now you don't know what the hell. Maybe it's not even that developer. Maybe it's the quality assurance guys.
Ooh.
How did it come about? So now it's difficult. It's like a problem. But Rust, where it differs is whenever just by design and architecture of Rust, when you allocate memory, you don't do it yourself. Rust, we call it the borrow and checker system. So you design a variable, Rust allocates memory into it, and then when you finish with that variable, it drops it automatically. It's built into the architecture
to automatically drop
that memory, clean it out for the next computation. Yeah, so that's where the thing. I'm simplifying it, but that's basically what happens. Like it does spring cleaning on your memory, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
and any failure that happens would happen at compile time. Not at production when the product is out or whatever. It fails right here in your IDE. You can see it. It is kind of like the IDE in Rust. Some people, especially the most senior other programmers who are senior, they said, no, but I don't like the compiler in Rust because it kind of really babysits me.
Yes, I want to say that. Like, what happened to the most most seasoned people that like the hard work?
Yeah, but then 80% of bugs, think about it. 80% of bugs means that there's a problem.
Yes.
Senior or not senior,
it's a problem. If we want to solve the problem.
Yeah, you want to solve the problem, So Rust does that for you. And you can think of the compiler as your code review partner. Because that's when you do your code review step as well. So like I said earlier on, if it compiles in Rust, it works.
Let me ask you, I mean, there's also a lot of applications that developers are now using, your Kiros, and they also do give developers warnings, errors to tell them there's something wrong with the code and whatever. How does AI assist Rust, or would Rust not need AI?
AI is a tool.
Yes.
So if you know your stuff, AI is your assistant, right? It's your greatest assistant you can have.
100%.
And senior guys as well, I think they are finding ways to use AI to help them program quicker. But then they still that human part that you need to keep an eye on how AI behaves. 100%. So AI is a tool. I've used a lot of AI myself. Since it came out in I think that year was GPT 2022. I can't remember what the year it was. But yeah, I've been using it, and you just have to keep yourself up to date. Just use it as a tool. It's not your enemy. It's not your whatever. It's not going to replace you. I don't think that, because you need to know your skills and build your skills. AI is part of that, the skilling up process.
Yes, 100%. Yes. But can you use it simultaneously with Rust systems, or would AI be redundant? Because like you're saying, it's just a tool.
Yeah, it's a tool.
Do you trust Rust enough to be able to do what AI would have done by it validating and checking the bugs?
I think so, Palisa, because I don't think you need to fight AI. Rust is like the foundation. They released it, but I don't have the full details on it. But I think, if I remember correctly, they said the Rust Foundation, that is, they've released. There's a project they are working on that regards AI that encourages developers and engineers to actually use AI in Rust, but they want to be in control of the process, because AI obviously can also cause issues, can also cause problems. I think one of the senior guys at Rust described AI as this young, arrogant adult who's opinionated, but he doesn't know when he's wrong. Kind of thing. So you kind of like, you
that's
need
a good description.
yeah. So you need the human, the developer, the real person to keep in check with this individual. He has lots and lots of opinions, but also
you need neutrality. You need somebody who's neutral to say, let's check this.
Yes.
100%.
So I think the foundation, Rust Foundation, as far as I'm aware, they're trying to develop a system. I can't remember what the name is, but it's there to help people to kind of like, instead of saying we reject AI, they embrace and welcome and say, but we want to be in control of the process. So if you are learning Rust using AI, you should learn the basic fundamentals of Rust so that you don't get caught. Like, kind of like using a tool you don't even know how it works.
100%. Yeah. Which organizations, which product houses, what kind of companies would benefit from using Rust?
Across the board, Palisa.
Really?
Across the board, because Rust really is in embedded systems, like the little, let's say, for example, like your remote control. We call it microcontrollers. Those little things called embedded systems. Like the things that don't really have the memory of a laptop or a computer.
Yeah.
They've got small memory, but then they still need to work. And it's not big in web development now, because I think the strength of Rust is basically back end.
Lovely.
That's back end. That's where the strength is.
Gotcha.
But it's working its way. Some people are finding implementation of Rust in the front end development, but obviously the ecosystem there has to grow. You see? And so Rust is really across. So if you want to learn Rust, I would say go for it, because I think, President Biden, when he was president, he didn't name the languages by name, but he says memory unsafe languages are unacceptable. Companies who are using them must look for memory safe languages.
Yes.
So basically, we're saying go adopt Rust without saying
go without
100%. Yes. So obviously, if that comes from the White House, because obviously the US government is big, and a lot of contractors, a lot of companies, so that's definitely going to be the case. People are going to follow. Yeah.
Now that you talk about going to learn Rust,
yes.
Where is there? Are there schools? Okay. Are there online platforms? Where do we educate ourselves on Rust? And are there levels to this thing? Like,
sure. Oh, I'm going to be biased. So come to our user group at Microsoft. We meet every second week of the month, 6 to 8. Okay. Warm pizza and Coke, so that's cool. It's not a school for us, but it's just a group of people, developers.
Okay.
We come from different languages, different areas. So we go there. So that's the first place you can go. And we do have a curriculum that we use there, like a beginner curriculum.
Lovely.
And it's welcoming, so that's the first thing. But without, even if you didn't come to our group, but Rust have made it easy, because if you just go online, like for instance, the book I use myself is called the Rust Cookbook. It's just like a recipe book. Just Google it. The Rust Cookbook is the basic introductory book in Rust. I think you just follow it. Chapter 1 to chapter 10, if there's got 10 chapters. That's what I use. So they've got many online tools that are free.
Okay.
Just Google it, Rust Cookbook, and from there you're gonna see many other books.
Okay.
They are all online. Anything in Rust or any tutorial in Rust is called a book. So, or even if you wanna just attack and identify a special part in Rust you wanna learn about, just Google it. It's on Google. It's free. So just Google it. It's very easy. I wouldn't say schools in South Africa at the moment, because I don't think there are schools now, because like I said, South Africa, we are late to come into it.
Yes.
Or at least so far. But I think we're gonna wake up to it. But it's very easy to learn. Just go online and Google it. So it's easy.
Yeah, and other people can just touch base with you and just pick your brain whenever they can.
Yeah, sure. Definitely.
My other thing, I think, with people that are in tech, the other reason for the platform is to find ways to make tech accessible.
Yes.
The back end logic of tech, the front end logic of tech, the usability of tech. And I'm always trying to find out how people that are in the forefront of these big conversations that we're having and these big technologies that we're exposed to, how do we then take that back? What advice would you give somebody who is maybe not financially well off to be able to go to the normal building schools and
to go
stuff,
learn something.
and to go learn something. I mean, you went from a completely different industry and now are in tech.
Into this
what was the definer or the thing that made you say, I'm going to learn this thing? I mean, there is a level of curiosity there, but for someone who's disheartened and knowing the importance of getting into tech, I don't care which level you get into tech. This right now, everybody needs to be in there. What would your advice be?
You're speaking the same language. So, like I said, I'm going to reiterate exactly what you said. Doesn't matter who you are, whether you have a degree, you don't have a degree. For me, the degree is irrelevant. Whether you have it or you don't have it, or you have a degree in how to make chocolate, come on board. Because all we need is creativity, really.
Yes.
I think you said the key word, the curiosity.
100%.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Just be curious. Say, okay, what is this? I want to figure out. Just poke, find out. So you don't listen to the idea that says, no, you don't have a computer science degree. It's irrelevant. It helps if you have, but
sure.
That's really. And then now, when you have the degree, okay, go get a job. Yeah. But really, learning doesn't stop when you get a job. We here, you and I, we're still learning every day. So it doesn't matter really.
100%.
So come on board. So what I do personally, because I'm passionate about Rust and I really want to talk to other people about it. And me talking about Rust actually helps me learn about Rust. So when I speak, I'm also learning.
Learning all the time. What I'm saying? Yeah.
So I speak to a couple of developer groups in Joburg, around Johannesburg.
Yeah.
The JS, like JavaScript, what is it called? Josie JS. I've spoken there. I keep, even if I had a talk there, we met at Browser Stack.
Yes.
And anywhere where I find an opportunity to go speak, because I want to share what I've learned, which is what tech meets or tech guys do, tech guys and girls do. Even when I meet young people, like there's a group from these guys from the Within Code.
Yes.
They're young guys. And I say, guys, don't wait. Whatever you're learning now, if you're learning Java or Python, whatever, if you've learned a paragraph worth of Python, stand up for 5 minutes in a tech meet, speak about it. Because that's the learning you're talking about.
100%.
Just to say, doors are open. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, whether you start or you don't start. Come on board is welcoming. We know you. We welcome you. Want you here.
I've seen your passion. I think even at Browser Stack, there were people that asked questions. Yes. I mean, you've introduced us to a completely new world most of us are not exposed to. But you had allowed us to ask questions, as many as we possibly could. But I mean, we walked out of that talk having learned something new. Yes. And then, if you're curious enough, would have gone home to do more research on it, right? And try to see how your world in a different practice would then come together with what you've taught. Look, I am super inspired by the work that you've done. And I also just want to ask, where do people then find you?
Oh, that's good. Probably on LinkedIn. I think I'm not really big on Twitter, but there I just check Rabbi there. So LinkedIn is the best. LinkedIn is Thembaletu without the H at the end.
Okay.
Thembaletu Mbangcolo, just my name.
Yeah. And I'm sure you'd have more information about your next talks and stuff, so people can also engage. Yeah,
I think I post them on LinkedIn. There's Python coming in Cape Town, but it's in Cape Town. I think they do offer online talks. You don't have to be in Cape Town. So you go to the Python, I think it's called PythonZA, but it's South African Python. So you can go there and see there. I think there's a CFP out. So if you're a Python developer, go in there and see what you want to talk. Like I said, it's embracing. I want more people, especially black and black women in the game. That's my bias.
And we are about to infiltrate the space.
Yes.
Look,
thank you, man.
Any parting words? I think you've shared a lot, and we've come to the end of the podcast. Yeah, sure. I just wanted to know if you've got any final words to tell us why Rust is so great and why we all need to get on it.
Yeah, no, look, Rust really is the same message. It's a new programming language. I think it's gonna write. Let me just quote what the head of CVE. CVE stands for Common Vulnerabilities. That the guy who's been looking at vulnerabilities in the Linux kernel.
Yeah.
His name is Greg KH. So he's been at the Linux kernel for 25 years.
Yeah.
His last talk, which is 2 weeks ago in Netherlands, he says, in the end, Rust is going to save Linux. That's my parting talk. That's not my idea, it's his idea. Basically, that's how important Rust is in the kernel and to any other company that produces products that need maintenance over a long period of time. So you're going to have less bugs because Rust does what it does, eliminating those vulnerabilities that are hard to solve. So yeah, welcome to Rust. Come on, Rust. Yes.
Yeah, again, Thembaletu, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure having you, and thank you for always putting yourself out there and advocating for Rust. I think you are going to introduce a big world for all of us, whether we are exposed to it or not. It's just a matter of time. We'll all be on Rust very soon.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody, for joining this episode. We'll catch you again on the next one.
Thank you.